for a parent who has a child, now they're graduating from high school, and this child is not going to be taking their car to school, what conversation do they need to be having with their agent?
Exactly what you said. Hey, Kim's going away to school.
Okay.
She won't have a car with her. She will be coming home for holidays and vacations.
Okay.
Is there anything that's going to lessen this premium that we're paying? And in most cases, that answer is yes, because we then recognize that the child will not have regular use of the car.
Okay.
So we're saying, okay, they live in Georgia. This kid's going to school in California.
Right.
Coming home a couple of times a year. So it's no longer a regular use situation for the kid.
Okay. So it sounds like that's an opportunity to save some money.
Definite opportunity to save some money.
Okay. So what about the opposite situation? So child is graduating from high school and they are taking their car to college. What conversation does a parent need to have with the insurance company then?
Well, you just want to let us know that, again, Kim's going away to school, but she'll have the car with her. That doesn't change our rate at that point.
Okay.
Is Kim's address still going to be here in Georgia, though? Is that going to be her permanent address? So we'll recognize the average student as just being, in college.
Okay.
But their home address or their home base is still there with their parents. So nothing about their insurance rates will change.
Okay.
Nor is there a need to transfer insurance to another state.
Okay.
Now, if Kim is away at school and she's getting her own apartment and she does not plan to move back to Georgia,
Okay.
now it's time to do things a little different. Kim needs to get another policy in her state of her garaging location.
Gotcha.
So we're considering her as moved away at that point.
Okay, because based on how her new adult life is set up, doesn't look like she's returning.
Absolutely. So she is no longer a resident of Georgia according to the way her lifestyle is set up. She's got an apartment lease in her name.
Okay.
She's now got a driver's license in her new state. So now she lives in a different place at that point.
Okay. No, that's very helpful. So what advice do you have for parents before they buy a car for their child in the context of insurance?
So buying the car, I always tell people, is the easy part. Being able to afford everything about the car is the second piece.
Come on now.
Then the third piece to that is children that are between the ages of 16 to 19 are 3 times more likely to have an accident, a serious accident, compared to those being 20 or over.
Okay.
So we're looking at all the factors that apply at that point.
Right.
What kind of car are they driving?
Right.
Are they driving a Toyota Corolla or do they have an Audi A5? So they're already experienced. What are you putting them in?
Right.
What message are you sending to them, putting them behind that car that they can barely control, being inexperienced?
Okay.
So my thing with a kid is most of them are likely to have an accident within the first year or so of them driving.
Right.
So do you really want to put them in that $20,000 car, or do you want to take the chances of getting that used car that grandmother said that they could have until they really get experience and really deserve to have that bigger piece of machinery behind them? So the insurance rate is going to be determined by the type of car that they have.
Right.
And it's been determined by the age of that driver.
Okay.
And then that driver's record.
Right.
And then the types of discounts that they have. So it's the perfect opportunity before they get a license. Ask every single question. Are they going to be driving my truck along with my husband?
Right.
Or are they going to have their own car? And then what type of car? I always say it's not that you can afford to purchase them a new car. Is it worth the cost in terms of their safety and your pocketbook?
Right. And so what it sounds like I hear you saying, before parents get really excited about buying a particular car for their kids, sounds like they need to have a conversation with the agent about type of car, year of car, cost of car, just to make sure they're making a really smart decision.
Absolutely. And I tell people all the time, if you don't want to take it from me, Google is your best friend.
Okay.
Look at the fatality rates for kids in certain cars, the safety rates for kids, what cars are deemed to be the safest, and the hows and the whys. What things can be done to reduce the insurance rate. So there's so many things. It's not that you're just so excited about getting them a car.
Right.
you want to look at all the factors involved in getting them that car.
Right. It's a much bigger business decision versus just this rite of passage.
Absolutely.
For your child.
Absolutely. There's so many commercials that, you look at cars now and they'll say you go 0 to 60 in 20 seconds.
Right.
But do you really want your 16-year-old going 0 to 60 in 20 seconds?
Right.
It's not worth it.
No.
And the cost associated with that can be more than the premium you pay.
Right.
It could cost somebody their lives.
Right. Now, just as a parent of adult children, I am so glad that we started them with cars that they were going to ding up, because that's exactly what they did.
Yeah.
And they both had accidents, more than one. Yeah, so just happy to let them get that out of their system first, and then we could kind of progress on to what was next.
Absolutely, because I think it should be that way. You just don't graduate from a high school just because you just went to kindergarten.
Right.
You need to go in those baby steps, and that is so important when it comes to kids. I had a customer say, "Well, I just don't want to have any kind of car."
Right.
Yeah, but you want her to live to see getting the next car.
Right.
So if you buy her a car that has all this power to it.
Right.
She's driving, overcorrects, flips her car.
She's not equipped.
She's not equipped. She's not ready.
She's not ready.
She's not ready at all.
Yeah. All right. Now, I know this is a big issue for parents. So you got these teens that are driving. Now, because of their accidents and their tickets, your insurance is going through the roof. Mm-hmm. What do you tell your parents?
I look at ways to start creating separation. At least have the conversation very early on. Look, Janet has had an accident.
Right.
Even though it wasn't that bad, we also noticed that she's got a speeding ticket. Mm-hmm. You may want to start having some conversations around what that's going to look like for you long term. Is it going to impact the insurability of your entire household?
Right.
Or do you want Janet now to get her own policy? Kind of separate her from you. She's now gone on from company A to company B with her policy and her car.
Okay.
The second piece to that, if that's not an option or you don't see it as an option, you may want to ask your agent or your insurance company about doing an exclusion. Yeah, you've told us that Janet is a driver, but you don't like the way that things are going with her driving record. She still has a license, but you are saying to the company, I'm with you, company A. Let's exclude her until her driving record gets better, meaning that she is not covered anytime she drives any vehicle in our household. Mm. So really what you're saying is kind of like, I'm taking the keys back.
I'm taking the keys back.
Yeah.
Okay.
Some insurance companies will allow it and some will not. But if you're working with your agent and you've got a good reason why that driver is still in your household, they can't just move out.
Right.
They still have a license, but you're saying no more.
Right.
No more. You can ask for an exclusion.
Right. So what I think I hear you saying, Carol, is you have this child. They have been irresponsible or young, whatever it is. They've got these tickets, these accidents. Either your insurance is going through the roof or your insurance company's like, you're going to have to go if this kid stays on your insurance. Mm-hmm. Now you want this child to have their own policy.
Yes.
Do they have to be at least 18 for that to happen?
You got to be able to enter into a contract.
Okay.
So the 16-year-old, and he's got 2 or 3 tickets.
Right.
You just can't push him out there to start negotiating a contract.
Okay.
But that 18-year-old, that 19-year-old, this kid that's getting ready to turn 21.
Right.
I firmly believe in creating separation.
Okay.
At that point, because number one, I don't want to be liable or held responsible for what they are doing.
Because I wanted to talk to you about that next.
Yes.
Right.
So I am a big believer in let's start treating them like adults.
Okay.
They're making adult decisions about speeding.
Right.
They are disobeying our household rules about what we consider safe driving. So let's create some separation.
And when we talk about getting this separate policy, we assume this kid now is over 18. Mm-hmm. They have this policy. How much more expensive is that? Because it sounds and feels expensive to me, because I know what it had to cost when they were on my policy. Yes. But now this young driver has their own policy. Can you kind of give us some context with that?
Oh, it's huge.
Okay.
Because what you are doing is you've gifted them an opportunity to be under you.
Right.
And you're saying, if you follow these rules and we're all safe drivers,
right.
then these are our rates.
Right.
You go against me and our rules. Now you do it all on your own.
Right.
So in a household where we've got several discounts,
right.
accident-free discount, multi-car discount,
right.
Defensive driving discount,
multi-policy
discount.
Right.
Now you're out there all on your own, solo. You're young. And you've got a bad driving record.
Oh, my God.
And you wanted that racing car.
Right.
So now you've got 3 things working against you.
Right.
I've moved you from my policy.
Right.
I've been with my carrier for 20 plus years.
Right.
I don't have any tickets or accidents.
Right.
So, yeah. So now your rate that was $900 is $1,900. Or you're uninsurable because your rate is so your driving record is so bad. So yeah, it's one of those things. But I think having those conversations in the beginning, again, working backwards, telling this is the worst case scenario, what you've done,
and this is
what it looks like for you. Yeah, yeah.